Cool.
Yo, it's Orlando with 94.3 The Shark at the Food Truck and Rock Carnival, hanging out with John Connolly of Sevendust. What's going on, brother?
Well, not a whole lot, man.
All right, so there's a lot of craziness going on outside.
Mm-hmm.
Food from like all over the place.
Right.
A ton of bands. Sevendust definitely one of the headliners tonight. So playing such a condensed set, how do you guys think to trim the fat off the set list and just bring the best?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's kind of a weird spot for us because we've only this is our second show on the tour. So the first show we did was an opening set, but it was an hour. It was longer than what we'll be doing today. So we've been kind of shifting gears ever since rehearsal. So for us, it's like every day for the first 4 or 5 days is going to be a new thing. I think we do an hour, we do a 40, we do a 50, we do a 90. You know, so we're all over the map. So for us, it's just kind of looking at the set list and going, all right, maybe not this one tonight because we don't know yet.
Now with the new album coming out, you got Kill the Fall coming out October 2nd.
Yep.
So it's a big deal, especially in today's digital age where new music is just one of those things where your diehards are going to love it, and most radio stations that aren't the Shark don't pick it up because people are afraid. So how do you guys put the new music in the set? Because that's really the only way to get it out there now, right?
You know, I mean, we had a first single go out, and then we did a lyric video for another, not really a single, but kind of a personal favorite of ours too. So those were kind of the two songs that we knew that we were going to be doing right around the release of the record. For the headline show, we'll probably add another song this year, and then next year we'll be doing at least 4 or 5 of the new records. So, you know, you want to kind of keep a little bit of mystery about it, you know, at least until the record comes out. But once it's out, I mean, anything's game for us. I mean, you know, we'd like to be able to hit at least half the record at some point in time.
Now, Sevendust's new album, Kill the Floor, comes out October 2nd. Now, you guys, I remember seeing you at the Hammerstein Ballroom in, I believe, 98 with Static X.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of my favorite shows. And back then, you were a brand new band. In 2015, how has Sevendust evolved as a band?
You know, I think we just, it's weird too, because we're like the original 5 guys too. I mean, Clint left for a while, and we went through a lot of business turmoil, you know, business manager, label, all that stuff. But it's weird. It's like we come full circle. We went through all that, and it's the same 5 guys. And I think it's just, I think the evolution for us is just, we don't really think about it as much as we used to. You know, I mean, it's always easy to fall into the trap when you're young and you're impressionable. You know, you're new to the business. You want to listen to all the birds that are in your ear telling what you should do. You know, maybe you guys should do this kind of a song or be this kind of a band. And I think after all the years, we just realized that, you know, we're just better when we don't think about what kind of a band we are. Just go and make music like we did before we have no idea what kind of a band we are. We still don't know. We get called metal, we get called rock, we get called soul metal, we get called new metal. I don't know what we are. You know, we came out at about a time, you know, where guitar solos were kind of not in vogue, and the whole Seattle new metal thing had kind of, you know, started up. So we kind of get lumped into that. But for us, I think, you know, the evolution is just, it's just as simple as just not thinking as much as we did at one point in time. Because on the first record, we didn't really think about anything. We just made music and released it, and fans loved it. And then for every expert that we gained, it almost seemed like we kind of, not really set ourselves back or anything, but, you know, it's like, I don't know, for us it's just easy when we get together, we just make music. We don't think about what kind of music we're making. We don't think whether we're making a heavy song or a light song. I mean, obviously if you're going to do an acoustic record, then you say, okay, cool, we're going to focus more on this. But, you know, for us it's just about being real and just kind of doing what makes us happy, you know. And the fact that it's the same 5 guys that actually started it, that speaks volumes too, you know. Because we fight like anyone does, but, you know, it's all for the cause. It's all for the love of what we do.
Now, you mentioned that whole, at the end of the 90s thing, and that whole generation of music where there weren't guitar solos. Everybody remembers the grunge era, the early part of the 90s. Yeah. But I think a lot of people seem to forget that there was a whole revolution at the end of the 90s. That new metal thing with bands like you and Limp Bizkit and Korn and so many different types of bands, but you were all out at the same time.
Sure, yeah.
So like, how does Sevendust now differentiate themselves from all of those other bands that you came up with?
You know, it's weird. It's like, you know, you talk about the 90s and you say, okay, you know, the whole grunge, new metal thing. I mean, Metallica had the big record, I guess, came out in the 90s, you know, the Black Album, but there were even bands like Pantera. Like, Pantera was they were a 90s band. Yep. They were like the one band that flew in the face of everything else that was going on, and they did their own thing, and nobody knew what to call them other than metal, some kind of metal, power metal, groove metal, you know, cut your face off, you know, just like the most intense shit that you ever heard. So for us, it's kind of the same thing. Like, you know, I don't think Pantera was so busy on trying to define a term other than just define the band.
Right.
And I think with us, it's kind of the same way. You know, we just, I don't know, man. I mean, I guess it's real easy to get sucked into trends and do things that everyone else is doing, but it's kind of cooler when you just do your own thing, and if everyone else is doing your thing too, that's cool. But at some point in time, you'll still be left alone doing your own thing, you know, hopefully. So, but I don't know, man. I mean, you know, we've been through so many what's in vogue, what's not in vogue, you know, guitar solos being cool, not being cool, you know, the grunge thing, you know, the whole new metal thing, which new metal to me was always kind of odd. Like, I never understood, you know, back in the day, it was like new metal, you were supposed to like rap over metal music.
Right.
That was kind of what the new metal thing was. And we never really rapped until our fourth record. It was Morgan who did all the raps anyway. So it was like, all right, so by default, I guess we're a new metal band because of one song. But I don't know. I mean, I guess it's kind of cool to see bands like Disturbed, who are definitely a new metal band.
Sure.
You know, even Limp Bizkit, you know, made a splash back on Shiprock last year, you know, getting back together. So it's like there's still those bands, as you know, there's non-points and things like that were always kind of like part of that new metal, you know, scene. And for us, I mean, as long as we're associated with something that's sort of cool, you know, people are like, oh, don't call it new metal. I'm like, call us whatever, I don't care, man. I mean, you know, I'm still here and I'm still having a good time, so, you know.
Well, before I wrap this up, you mentioned Morgan. I remember running into Morgan in October at Think Loud Studios with Les Projet when he was doing the thing with Kevin Martin, Candlebox.
Sure.
And the entire time, it's so funny. He's drumming, and he's got his phone on his drums, checking his fantasy football scores.
Of course.
And here we are watching some college football. Are you guys, the rest of the band, just as into sports?
Pretty much. I mean, me and Morgan and Vinny are huge football fans. This is a big day for me and Vinny because Vinny's a Georgia Tech fan. I'm a Notre Dame fan. You know, but yeah, I mean, we've always, Morgan probably more so than anything because Morgan's into all the sports. You know, from golf all the way through football.
He's got the Yankees tattoo.
He's got everything. He's got it going on. But we're all football fans. Cool. Everyone's a football fan.
What do you think this year, NFL 2015?
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm a Jets fan. I was expecting to be 0-1, and now I'm 1-0 with a pretty decent, you know, win. And I don't know. I mean, it could be an interesting week this week.
You believe in Bowles as the coach?
I do. At this point, I do. And, you know, it's a bittersweet thing with Rex because I like Rex. I think Rex is an awesome personality. I love the way that he speaks his mind. Evidently, the players love to play for him. But, you know, he made some calls there. I mean, the whole Tebow thing still to me just baffles the mind, you know. That whole episode, I was like, that was kind of the beginning of how it all started to unravel.
Sure.
It's like you got three roosters in the hen house now. What are you going to do here, you know? And your third stringer is a guy who's selling all the merch.
Yep.
And you're not going to start him. So for me, it's kind of nice because it's being a Jets fan. I mean, trust me, I got thick skin. You know, it's like to go through what we've gone through. You know, with the Patriots being in the division the whole time. So you know, I'm just anxious for there not to be any drama, for it just to kind of get back to true games there for a minute. You know, but I don't know, man. I mean, Falcons. We're Falcons fans too. They weren't supposed to win. Falcons won. Jets won. So I'm like, all right.
Well, John, before we wrap this up, the new album, Kill the Flaw, it comes out October 2nd, Sevendust. Sounding as amazing as ever. Is there any information about the new album that fans need to know? Where to find it, where to track you guys?
I mean, Sevendust.com, you know, we'll have all the information for everything tour-related, album-related. We're going to be having a deluxe edition that's actually going to be coming out. It's taken us a little longer to actually put all the pieces of the puzzle to that. That'll be coming out before the holidays for sure. Other than that, we're going to be on tour the next 2 years at least. So.
You're like the hardest working band in music.
Yeah, when we're not, you know, like we've just been home for about 5 months, so for us it's like, all right, you know, time to get back on.
How many times I've seen you since you started? 17 times.
That's awesome. That's so awesome.
In New Jersey, in New York,
nice.
Festivals. You guys are just
nice,
always there, and I love it every time.
That's awesome. Much appreciated.
It's John Connolly on The Shark.